This session is on small group instruction. Let's start by looking at our learning targets. Can I have someone read these learning targets for us? Educators will be able to answer the following questions. What is small group instruction? Why is small group instruction important? How do I schedule small group instruction? How do I utilize data to guide small group instruction? What are some resources available to use during small group instruction? Let's start with a do now activator, and we'll do an activity called a think, write, pair, share. Read the statement on the screen and then think about and write the 3 ways that scholars can benefit from participating in small group instruction. I'm going to give you about a minute and a half to do that. Now, pair up with someone at your table and discuss what you wrote. All right, who would like to share what you and your partner discussed about the benefits of small group instruction? So let's look at what small group instruction looks like here at PLA. So what is small group instruction? Small group instruction is meeting with scholars to reteach, reinforce, or extend their learning. Every scholar receives small group instruction in both ELA and math. Groups have no more than 6 scholars. Scholars are working on like skills, and groups are fluid based on their need. Let's look at PLA's academic playbook by scanning the QR code on the screen. From there, go to either pages 97 to 100 if you're an elementary teacher, or pages 101 to 103 if you teach middle school or high school. These pages detail how to schedule for small group instruction and the PLA small group instruction expectations. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to read over scheduling expectations and how small group instruction is defined at PLA. All right, let's come on back. Share what you have learned about small group instruction at PLA. Let me have a few people share out. All right, thank you for sharing what you learned. Now we want to start by discussing why PLA prioritizes small group instruction. We have a video here for you to watch, and as you watch it, we want you to think about what are some of the benefits of small group instruction. Go ahead and jot down examples you see in the video.
So the impact of differentiation, the students feel successful. They feel supported. They know if something is difficult for them, there's something that's a little more in line with their strengths coming up soon. So it really makes education fun and approachable. I really think it's the most effective way that I have to teach.
The vision and the mission of Highlander is to use innovative practice as a social catalyst. We want our kids to be able to do anything any other kid from Providence could do.
We use differentiation all across the curriculum here at Highlander, and especially in the first grade. Although the content is the same, having the stations really allows me to tailor my lessons to each individual group of learners. So how the differentiation looks in my classroom, we start off with a whole group lesson. So let's get our reading glasses on. Let's get the letter part of our brains activated. This section of our curriculum, we have been looking at nonfiction texts. When we're looking at our book today, we're going to be thinking about where we can get information. And then in the phonics realm, we focused on contractions. We're taking two words. What are we sticking them together with? Yes, Karen. And then we break off into our small groups. So our yellow group is still learning how to do a lot of our literacy things. The green group is doing pretty well, but has a few things to work on still. And our blue group is hitting all the first grade standards and needs to be stretched. So our differentiation kind of takes two forms. The first is by student grouping, and the second is by modality of learning. We have 20 minutes per station, and there are 3 of the stations. The students will rotate through all 3 stations each day.
So our station for the blue group is the computer station.
The students use a Google form to check in. They'll normally watch a video or carefully observe a photograph and answer some questions about that.
We watched a video about how to grow a seed. We had to type in our favorite part and why.
After they finish that form, they can check out an ebook.
And then you could do this game of reading called Teacher Must Know How to Read.
We're delivering things in a way that is visual, that is auditory, that is individual to the students through the technology.
After that, she rings the bell.
Clean up, switch up, first grade readers.
We switch to the sort station.
Our sort station is more of a physical modality. They're using their bodies, which is so important for first graders. They need to move. Kids are cutting out the words, they're gluing them down.
We have a contraction game. Just one is mixed up and then have to find the right pieces. And then after we do that, we do rainbow writing.
That's another way that we differentiate. If students are able to get through more work, then they have some freedom of choice. Clean it up, switch it up. The last station, we're talking to each other and learning from each other. So that's more of the social interaction type of modality.
I like the teacher station the most because we get to be with Miss Gallagher. We get to learn stuff.
So take illustrations on this page, right? And the content is the same, but it can be differentiated in a number of ways. My blue group, for example, they know what text is. They know what illustrations are. And so for them, we create a Venn diagram.
One circle like this.
For the yellow or the green group, I'm just leaving the Venn diagram out of it. We're still doing essentially the same thing, but just that piece that might be confusing to some of those students, I just leave that out for a later time. They'll get to it. All right, so clean up and meet me in the middle of the road for writing. Nice work, first grade.
Being able to move through those stations, it's just another level of helping the students learn as much as they can each year. They really feel excited when they make that growth.
They're proud of themselves. They feel like they're effective learners. As a teacher, honestly, it is a lot of work, but the results that you see and the happy faces of the kids and the good feeling that you have in the classroom is worth it.
All right. So go ahead and talk at your table and discuss what you identified as some of the benefits of small group instruction. Let's see, let's hear from somebody. What did y'all discuss at your table? What are some of the benefits that you identified for small group instruction? Awesome. All right, let's go ahead now, think about the how. We're going to start discussing how we schedule for small group instruction and determine standards to teach the scholars. How do we ensure that small group instruction occurs in our classrooms? Well, we need to be intentional about scheduling time every day for small group instruction. So how does small group instruction fit into math and into our math and ELA blocks? Here you see an example schedule of elementary math blocks. In the primary grades, 25 to 30 minutes of the 90-minute math block can be used for whole group instruction to introduce or review a skill. This would enable 4 groups of scholars to be taught, each of which would be 15 minutes long. In the upper elementary grades, whole group instruction might take 45 minutes, allowing for 3 small groups of scholars to be taught at 15 minutes each. Here we have an example of a 90-minute reading block now. It's similar to the math block. Approximately 30 minutes of the block can be dedicated to whole group instruction, leaving 60 minutes for small group instruction. Younger scholars may have 15-minute small groups based on their need and attention span, while older scholars may have 20-minute small groups. What are some potential obstacles in scheduling small group instruction? Go ahead and turn and talk to a person by you and discuss this. All right, who would like to share what you and your partner discussed? What are some potential obstacles? Yes, that makes a lot of sense, definitely. Well, let's look at middle school and high school examples now. If you are a middle school or high school teacher, think about small group instruction across the span of the entire week. You might use your first lesson of the week to introduce a new skill to your class, and then practice this skill collaboratively on Tuesday. Scholars may apply the skill independently on Wednesday through Friday, so you are able to take small groups of scholars to support them. So to ensure that small group instruction is most effective, we must use the most recent scholar data to both form small groups and determine what to teach in those small groups. We group scholars together based off of our most recent scholar data. And these groupings are fluid and will change throughout the year as scholar data changes. Here you see an example of a class report from NWEA. At PLA, we use NWEA to assess our scholars 3 times during the year. Each scholar receives a score for both ELA and math. How could you use this data to group your scholars? Turn and talk with a partner about how you would use this to group your scholars together. How would you create groups of 6 or less scholars using this data? And how and when would these groups change during the school year? I'm going to give you 3 minutes to talk with a partner. Let me have someone share what you and your partner discussed. I just want to reiterate that we can definitely create initial groups of scholars with this report and group them based off of their initial NWEA scores. Where we see there are more than 6 scholars with similar RIT scores on this report, we can break them into smaller groups based off of other data pieces that we have for the scholars. These initial groups should be fluid and updated as we get more data pieces for our scholars and what they understand. Here you see another type of data that you might get for your scholars. It's a Dibbles reading assessment report that demonstrates scholars' reading abilities. Scholars in grades K through 6 are assessed using multiple dibbles assessments where they might be asked to blend words, read a passage, or state the sounds in words. Turn and talk with your table about why this information would be helpful when grouping scholars and determining what to teach scholars in small groups. I'm going to give you 3 minutes at your tables to discuss. All right, let me have someone from table 7 share what your table discussed. How would you use this information to group the scholars? And how could you use this information to determine what to teach the scholars? Again, I just want to make sure that I reiterate that this information can be used in a variety of ways to plan for small group instruction. This data can be used to form small groups of scholars who have similar needs. For example, scholars who may need support with naming letters could be grouped together for support in that area, while scholars who have mastered that skill but need support with blending could be grouped together. Here you see another type of data, but this is for 7th and 8th graders. It's a running record that demonstrates scholars' reading abilities. Scholars read a leveled text aloud while an adult listens and records the words they read and fluency rate. Afterwards, the scholar is asked a few questions about what they have read. Depending on how the scholar read and answered the questions, they might read more books at either a more or less challenging level to find a level of text that fits the scholar. Turn and talk with your table about why this information would be helpful when grouping scholars and then determining what to teach the scholars in small groups. I'll give you 3 minutes to discuss this at your table. Can I have someone from table 4 share what you all discussed? Excellent. I want to reiterate that this information can be used in a variety of ways to plan for small group instruction. After reading levels are determined for your scholars, scholars with similar reading levels can be grouped together to read text at the same level. The errors that scholars make while reading can be analyzed to determine what strategies to teach scholars in groups. For example, if a scholar struggles with reading words with a specific spelling pattern, you can coach them on that phonics rule during small group instruction. If a scholar was not fluent when reading aloud for this running record, fluency could be a focus during small group instruction. It's important to remember that the small groups will change throughout the year based on your most recent data for your scholars. Exit slips, checks for understanding, common formative assessments, unit assessments, and your own observations will help guide you when your small group groups should change. Quizzes is a great website to check for scholar understanding where you can add your own questions to the site and it will create a game for scholars to play. Afterwards, a report will be created for you to see which questions each scholar got correct or incorrect. For small group instruction, we focus on modeling a skill or strategy for scholars and then allowing scholars to practice that skill with our support and coaching. At PLA, we use a variety of resources for small group instruction, including both M-Class intervention for scholars who are below benchmark and guided reading for scholars who are at or above benchmark. To support scholars with literacy skills, scholars in grades K through 6 who are below benchmark can receive differentiated small group instruction created by M-Class intervention. M-Class intervention is a platform that will take DIBELS benchmark assessment data and create lessons based on scholars' needs for teachers and/or reading interventionists to teach. If you are a K through 6 ELA teacher, you will learn more about M-Class intervention during your content week. Here's a sample of a teacher doing small group instruction using mClass. As you watch the video, I want you to think about some things that you notice in this video. Was there anything that you found to be effective? Did you have any aha moments?
Listening. Right. So today we're going to start with a game to pretend we're sound detectives, okay? So I'm going to show you some pictures, and we're going to need to find some pictures to fill out. So I'm going to say sound, and I want you to find which picture has the sound in the middle, okay? So, so my turn first. Okay, my turn first. So I would like to find a picture that has this sound A in the middle. My turn first. So you get good sound detective. Which picture has A in the middle? Got it. Fish. A. Yes, yes. Fish has A in the middle. Fish. You want to put it in our back. All right. Okay, let's work on the next one. So raise your hand if you know the next one, but I haven't said the sound yet. So are you raising your hand? Okay, the next one I would like you to find, sound detectives, is a picture that has all. You good sound detective and look around. Which one has all? Please. That's right. Which sound in city? Yeah, you'll see them on all the pictures then. Okay. Right. Which picture has in the image? Say card. The sound card.
All right. Now, go ahead and talk at your table. What did you notice in this video? Did you see anything that you found to be effective or any aha moments? Let me hear from table one. What did y'all discuss? Excellent. Yes, great insight. Once you get used to M-class intervention lessons, daily prep should take no more than 10 minutes for a group. At the beginning, it's going to take a little bit longer, but it will get easier once you get used to them, and you won't have to spend more than 10 minutes per group. So to support scholars with math skills, scholars in grades K through 8 who are below benchmark can receive differentiated small group instruction with lesson plans created by Zern. If you're a K through 8 math teacher, you will learn more about Zern intervention during your content week. Let's look at Tier 3 for Zern. This is where scholars will be working with the teacher in a small group. Scholars will not be on a device for Tier 3, but rather working either on a whiteboard or using a paper and pencil. Small group instruction for math can also vary depending on grade level and standards, but it's an ideal time for scholars to explain their thinking for mathematical problems. Scholars may use math manipulatives during small group instruction to explain their thinking and to work out problems. Here's a sample video of some teachers doing small group instruction using Zern. As you watch it, what are some things that you noticed in the video? Anything you found to be effective? Did you have any aha moments? Oh, I apologize. Let me go back and try to get this video to play again.
I am going to take like 2 $1 bills and I'm going to replace the 2 $10 bills. Please do the same. And please do the same. Like those 2 times. So luckily he's looking back at the money. He doesn't want to make a mistake. Let's check it out. You're able to do. I'm sorry.
The reason why you're here with me today is you all started from module 2. First of all, how many minutes are in an hour? Jeremy, 60. Can you tell me how many fives go into? Can you tell me? Draw a diagram for them, even if you know off the top of your head. There you go. 5, 10. So how many minutes went 5? 10. So what would my time be right there?
Mr. Borger buys 4 plants for his garden.
Each plant.
The next day he buys 1 more plant.
Awesome.
How much does he spend on it?
How did you know it was coming?
So first I counted by 4, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So it's just gonna be 20, but if I count by 5, then maybe 25, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
That was our first time doing this 2-step. Raise your voice, we're gonna do it.
All right. At your table, go ahead and discuss. What did you notice in the video? Anything you found to be effective? Any aha moments? Let me have someone from table 3 go ahead and share. What did y'all discuss? All right, so now it's time for you to be able to plan a small group lesson. You are going to choose a standard or skill that you would teach at your grade level. You can scan the guided math QR code for math, social studies, science, or the arts, or anything other than reading, and then scan the guided reading QR code for your ELA lessons. Using the template to help guide your thinking, make note of how you would introduce the skill to scholars and model your thinking. Determine which activities you would ask scholars to participate in and how you would monitor their understanding. Finally, make note of what resources would be needed for this lesson. You will have 20 minutes to work on this. And feel free to take the time to research activities for scholars to participate in or resource that was mentioned during any of our interactions together. All right, go ahead and get started. Scan the QR code for your grade and subject area. All right, let's go ahead and take a few moments to share your plan with a table mate for feedback. While you listen to your partner's plan, please listen for the standard they are covering, what activities the scholars will participate in, how they will check for understanding. You will each have 5 minutes to share with your partner. I'm going to put a timer on for 5 minutes. And the first person can get started on sharing. Awesome. 5 minutes are up. Let's go ahead and switch now. All right, let's come back together. How did this feel for you? Who would like to share? All right, this ends our session on small group instruction. It's time for you to reflect and commit. List one thing that you will start doing based on what you learned, something you might stop doing, something you might continue doing. If you're brand new to small group instruction, then why don't you write 3 things that you will start doing once you start small group instruction at the beginning of the school year. Thank you so much for joining us on this session.